New intro. So much love and appreciation to those of you who have been with me for the 2 year period plus that I've been doing this. Thank you for showing your love and support to the channel. And to anybody else who is brand new to the platform and you would like to support the channel, also, you can do it by way of Patreon, Anchor, the clothing store, and also the shoe shop that is listed in the comment description below. And again, thank you to any and all of you guys who have been here to support this channel during the 2+ year period. I wouldn't be able to do what I do every single day without you.
Hear me clearly. America is not a racist country.
We need to address, well, first of all, no, I don't think America is a racist country.
A New Hampshire woman is facing a civil rights violation complaint after she threatened a 9-year-old black child by calling him the N-word and telling him that she would, quote, kneel on his neck. The Office of New Hampshire Attorney General John M. Formella filed an enforcement action against 51-year-old Christina Graper of Dover for violating the state's Civil Rights Act. The complaint was filed on Thursday, October 7th in Stratford County Superior Court, alleging that Graper made a racially motivated threat against a youngster after he accidentally broke a toy belonging to her son. The 9-year-old boy, referred to as DH in court documents, was playing with Graper's son in a neighborhood park on May 10th when Graper's son pushed him and caused him to break a foam missile or a foam bullet that belonged to Graper's child, who ran home and told his mother about it. After DH ran away, but the defendant was able to catch up to him, the defendant threatened DH that she would kneel on his neck. A witness referred to as AP in court documents alleged that she heard Graper threaten the kid and told her that her conduct was unnecessary. Graper then stated to have yelled at AP in response. Meanwhile, as DH continued to return home, he allegedly heard Graper scream the N-word at him. This prompted DH's mother to alert the authorities and file a report against Graper with the Dover Police Department. Quote, when police met with the defendant on June 1st of 2021, the defendant initially could not recall the incident, but then recounted how DH broke her child's toy. The defendant denied telling DH that she would kneel on his neck, and instead, she recalls stating words to the effect of, "You wonder why you guys get expletive kneeled on." She also denied calling DH a N-word, but later stated that it was because they did not know how to shut their N-word pie holes. The encounter with Graper had an impact upon DH, as he understood her threat as a reference to George Floyd's death at the hands of a convicted former Minneapolis cop, Derek Chauvin. When the defendant made her threat to DH, he began to cry. Since the threat, DH has been afraid to return to the park and will only do so when other children are there to help keep him safe. The document alleges that Graper had violated the child's civil rights by threatening to use physical force motivated by his race. Quote, DH's race motivated the defendant's threat. They also added that the very nature of the defendant's threat invoked DH's race, as the threat was a reference to the widely publicized murder of George Floyd that occurred in 2020. The defendant's use of racial slurs directed at DH further evidence the racial motivation for the defendant's threat. The state is reportedly seeking a judgment of up to $5,000 from Graper and a temporary restraining order prohibiting her from further civil rights violations for up to 3 years. And this story has been brought to you by racism. Racism is accepted wherever true Americans are.
Perfect.
Now, you know, the most wondrous thing that I've always thought about that I don't think anybody's actually realized, that every single time I, happen to read or go over stories like this, I never hear of the reverse where there's a black parent and, something happens, right? And then the black parent automatically starts going after the alabaster child and starts trying to degrade them and starts trying to use slurs and all these other things. I never really hear about stories like that. Isn't it amazing how the reverse, you never really hear about it? And I've seen incidences even while growing up, right, where you've had kids of all nationalities, right? Playing with black kids, somebody gets injured, somebody gets hit, somebody gets tripped, something gets broken, and I don't really hear of the black parents, going out there and just deciding to do this. And then, wanting to talk about, causing some type of harm to a child, or, trying to threaten and use all of these slurs to really instill fear, to do things like that solely based off of their ethnicity, solely based off of their race, right? It's amazing to actually think about that, and it's amazing to actually go over that mentally, right? And this is also what takes place when black people don't have laws set in place. Now just step back for a minute. Now, for those of you who dislike me using the terminology black people, I use the terminology that pretty much everybody is used to, and they pretty much are caught on to. Now, very easily, I've done other videos and I've gone over actual definitions from an actual dictionary, telling, right, the variety of different names or labels or brandings that have been used or could be used to actually define what black people actually are. So, like I said, I need people to actually, roll back and just pay attention to the story and stop trying to always act like you're a know-it-all or some type of a teacher whenever it happens to come to me using the term black or African American or melanated or different things like that, right? So I digress. And due to the fact that we don't have these certain laws or these protections, rules, or regulations, in place, this is this is what helps things like this still transpire to still to this day. And this is also the main reason why a lot of other people like to say, oh, we live in a post-racial society. Racism it's not even really here. It's just a figment of your imagination. There's no reason to really focus on race because it's not really happening. Have you ever been a victim of racism? Has it ever happened to you? Do you know any? Like, it's that usual thing that they like to do, right? And that's their way to basically overlook a lot of the situations and to overlook a lot of their own history, dealing with their family, dealing with their friends, dealing with their coworkers, dealing with society, dealing with history, dealing with the U.S. government. That's their way of basically overlooking and trying to shift the visual point to a whole nother perspective where they feel that they have a better standing, a better leg, a better way to justify certain ways and different types of treatment. Because then they try to move it from the whole aspect of it being about race to it, oh, you got treated this way because of who you are as a person, how you basically approach the situation, how it is that you vocally responded, how your body was, uh, 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 facing, the situation, how it is that you're dressed, right? These are all of the things that they like to do on an everyday basis to try to escape racism and that history and to try to put the blame squarely on the victim by whatever it is that they did. And a lot of them out there are like, well, I wouldn't have said the same words, but if one of them would have, one of their children would have broke my child's toy, yeah, we would have had some words. I wouldn't have really said that, but we would have had some words. They're children at the end of the day. There's no words for, you to even say. Kids break toys every single day. This is why toys are pretty cheap. If you're buying your child an expensive toy, you're taking it to the, playground, you done failed as a parent, to be honest. To be 100% honest, you failed as a parent because everybody knows that children, especially boys, break toys. We break toys. That's what it is. We're hard on, a lot of our electronics, cell phones, shoes, whatever it is. This is why things have to consistently get replaced, right? But the mother wanted to basically use this main point to enable and to activate her racism, which she did. She slightly went back and stated that the statement about George Floyd to the child, I didn't exactly say that, but I said it a whole different way, which did not make it any better, which made it 10 times worse. And she really thought she was doing something where she just went back and corrected it. Like I said before, when people decide to show you who they are, believe them. Don't believe nothing else. Believe them. When they first show you who they are, believe them. But that's very hard and tough to tell a lot of black people because we are just so accepting to every other group of people, no matter what takes place, no matter what happens to us historically. We're just like, yo, we love you no matter what, and we're always going to be here, and we're always going to support you. And this is why black people have always been behind the ball and everybody else has been making it. This is why other people have laws set in place and why black people are still trying to fight to be deemed and seen as human beings. This is why there's a huge gap in everything that we do in comparison to everybody else. Like I said before, the moment in time that black people decide that it's time to catch up and it's time to change the rules and start playing the game different, it's going to be too late. So, as I've stated in a few other videos, the best way to alleviate a lot of these things that are taking place with us, our family and our friends and our children, is to fix the issue by coming together, buying up land, buying up blocks, buying up housing, and us living in those areas, cohabitating in those areas, us, pushing small things to the side, putting back and instilling a lot of that value, a lot of that respect that we basically lost now was stripped away from us. The moment in time that we actually come together and we actually do things to benefit one another, we will alleviate and stop a lot of these things from transpiring to us and our kids. But that's only if black people actually want to do it. But anyways, that's enough of me talking. Let me know what you guys think about this video and everything that I listed in the comment description below. And as always, peace, love, and stay tuned for the next video.